So welcome to our next video lesson, engineering mechanics, and the topic is in continuation to the previous one, that is simple stress and strain. Let us discuss some more topics in this one. So by the end of this class, you can able to understand, define the Poisson's ratio, and solve the different types of problems relating to stress and strains. Of course, we need to discuss about the one more point is the definitions of linear and longitudinal strain and lateral strain. Okay, so definitions of linear or, or longitudinal strain, both one and same. Either linear or longitudinal strain means strain along the loading, okay, or axis of the member. Nothing but longitudinal strain along the loading axis. Okay, so along the direction of the load is nothing but linear strain. And in the case of lateral strain, perpendicular to the axis of the load, direction of the load. So that is nothing but lateral direction. In that direction, whatever strain, that is lateral strain. Next one, defining the ratio of Poisson's, defining the Poisson's ratio. So very important concept. It is again Poisson's ratio and linear longitudinal. If you know these definitions, is nothing but Poisson's ratio. And solve the different types of problems relating to stress and strains using Poisson's ratio, meanings, modulus, stress, strain, everything, all these concepts. Now let us discuss one by one. So what you have to last class we have discussed about the stress. Of course, what you have defined the stress. Stress is nothing but internal resistance developed due to against the deformation, right? Per unit area is nothing but stress. That's what we have defined, and mathematically it is expressed as a load per unit area and load per area. Strain is nothing but change in length, ratio of change in length to original length, right? And Young's modulus is nothing but stress by strain. We have as per from Hooke's law we are obtained this equation, right? And change in length by combining all these three things. I mean substituting load by area in this one and strain delta L by L in this one, we will obtain this equation change in length, that is deformation delta L is equal to PL by A for axial loads. Okay, this is only for axial loads. Okay, so this one is generally it is called the axial rigidity. So A is nothing but axial rigidity. Of course, we don't need that one. For this is nothing but axial rigidity A. The product of area and Young's modulus is nothing but axial rigidity. The product of Young's modulus and moment of inertia is nothing but flexural rigidity. Okay, this is axial rigidity, that is a flexural rigidity. Now come to the latest today's topics. One by one, let us discuss about it. So longitudinal strain is also called as a linear strain, right? So in this one, the strength is the deformation change in length per unit length longitude along the longitudinal direction is known as a linear strain or longitudinal strain, both one and same, right? So just a minute, I will show this one longitudinal strain. Not able to get it full screen. I will run this reason. So I will discuss with the screen only. Okay, so what is the longitudinal strain? Longitudinal strain is nothing but the deformation. The deformation, that is change in length per unit length in the longitudinal direction, right? Means along the length of the member is known as a linear strain. Okay, and in this one again it is along the if you take this member is a member of length L subjected to load P, that is a tension. Okay, so tensile load is acted in this one. So if it is acted, what happens? So we have already discussed this type of member. So if it is a load member is subjected to low axial loads, axial tension or axial pull. So obviously what happens? There will be increase in length takes place, elongation. The bar members elongates. Okay, so increase in length takes place. That is nothing but like this. Okay, there will be an increase in length is there, right? So if it is that is increase in length is there, that is nothing but from here to here. It was initially it was L, and due to this load it was increased by delta L, means L plus delta L. The entire after load application, the length of the member is nothing but L plus delta L. Okay, something is added because it is increased, right? That's what and whatever the strain that is, right, whatever the strain that is produced in this direction along this member, this is the loading direction, in load direction or along the length of the member is nothing but its longitudinal strain. Okay, longitudinal strain and this direction along the length of the member is nothing but longitudinal strain, right? Longitudinal strain is equal to change in length by original length. Okay, change in length by original length, delta L by L. Of course, we have strain definition we have derived like this only, but there is change in the deformation. In that one, generally general terminology is about not change in length, we will change in dimension. Generally, strain definition is change in dimension by original dimension. That's what the general definition of the strain. Longitudinal strain is about change in length, okay, by original length. That's what the definition of the longitudinal strain or linear strain, right? Now let us come to the lateral strain. So lateral strain is nothing but when a member is subjected to loading, right? So when a member is subjected to loading, if it is loaded, let us say a compressive load is acting. It may be compressive or tension, but in this case we have taken a compressive load, right? If it is compressive load is acting on this member, load P is acting, the initial length is L and the dimension is this one. Okay, the diameter or this height is nothing but this dimension is nothing but D. Okay, so just before application of the load, this is initial dimensions. Now after application of the load, so what happens? What type of load it is? Push means compression. Compressive load means what happens? Compressed, contracts. Okay, that member get contracted because of this compressive load, and it is decreased. Say that's what it contracted. Okay, subjected to compressive load, right? So it is. What about this one? This dimension it is decreased. What about this dimension? What happens to this dimension, right? So what happened to the dimension, right? So what happened to this dimension? Just can you please imagine? Just imagine what happens. So this will be L minus delta L. Okay, this will be L minus delta L, right? And similarly, what about this one? This will be D plus delta L because it is compressing. This side is decreasing means this side increases. Okay, so this will get increased. This dimension increases because it is decreasing means obviously this will increases. This is decreasing. If at all this is in the previous case, if you say, just if you go back to our previous discussion, where the dimension, yeah, if you take this one, so in this case it will be the original. If you interpolate one over the above, so it will be like this. Okay, this will be like this. Sorry, I'm very sorry. So it is right, yeah. So if we take this one, this dimension, if it is this is increased means this is increased, yeah, this is increased. Okay, whereas if we take this both sides it will increases like this, it is increases simultaneously. So this is nothing but this is increasing, length is increasing, but right here what happening to this one? what happening in this dimension? So this is a straight line, right? So this is nothing but length is increasing, but at the same time the other dimension, that lateral dimension, is decreasing. This is increasing along the length, it is increasing along the width or depth or dimension. Along this dimension perpendicular to the length of the member, the dimension is decreasing. Okay, so that is nothing but lateral deformation. Okay, lateral change in length. Okay, in lateral direction, this is a longitudinal direction, this is a lateral direction. This is a longitudinal direction, right? This is a longitudinal direction, and this one is a lateral direction, right? So when this is member is increasing the length, means lateral direction the length will be decreases. Okay, so there will be decrease in length in this direction, increase in length in this direction. Okay, if it is this type of load is there. For the same case, if you take the compressive load, but don't think that in that case it is there is no strain is there, lateral strain is not there. There also it is, even for tensile loads also lateral strain will be there. But for clarification point of view, we are taking a different diagram, that's all. Don't take that in a compressive load only lateral strain will be there, for longitudinal strain only for the linear, tensile load, not like that. For every loading, whenever there is a strain, is longitudinal strain is there, accompanied by lateral strain will also will be there. Okay, right? So whenever a lateral strain is there, accompanied by longitudinal strain will be there always. Okay, so there cannot be only one direction the strain will be there, other direction no strain is zero, it's not possible. Okay, so in general, I'm talking about in general, it is strain will be there if it is in both directions, right? Like this, if you are taking a separate diagram for this one. So in this one, what happens? Length is, what is the length? Del L minus delta L. In this one, it's nothing but d plus delta, because it is increasing. If it is both, if you push it in from the both sides, so obviously it will be bulges, right? The same thing here. Even if you take a rubber, if you push in the direction, in this force direction, in this direction, obviously other direction increases, this will decreases, other direction increases. It's a normal phenomena we will observe in daily life. Okay, so many where we will observe this one, right? So, right, so that's what this is dimension diagram. That's why it is d plus d. This p is related to here only. Okay, so d is separate here, and this dimension is nothing but d plus d. Increase. Okay, this is increased. Okay, so this lateral strain is nothing but the strain which is produced in the lateral direction, right? Strain which is produced in the lateral direction. So it is the ratio between change in lateral dimension to the original lateral dimension. That is nothing but the definition of the lateral strain. Change in lateral dimension to original lateral dimension. When a material subjected to uniaxial stress within the elastic limit, it deforms longitudinally and also laterally. That's what we have discussed. When a metal subjected to uniaxial stress, so obviously it will deforms in both directions. Uniaxial means along the only one direction. Uniaxial means only along the one direction if this load is acting. So like remember we have discussed as if just before, like last class we have discussed, uniaxial means only along the one direction the load is acting. Within the elastic limit, it deforms longitudinally and also laterally. Under tension, lateral dimension decreases. Under compression, lateral dimension increases. That's what I have explained you with the annotations, right? So with the annotations, I have explained how it is lateral dimension and longitudinal dimension increases or decreases under the tension and compression we have discussed as of now, right? Now let us go to the next one. Right, lateral strain is nothing but change in lateral dimension to original lateral dimension, that is delta d by d. Means if it is lateral dimension is d, that is nothing but d, and dimension of the lateral direction is d. So change in diameter delta d by d. If it is a circular one, it is a diameter. If it is a square or any other one, it is change in width or change in thickness or something, some other criteria, right? right? In the case of bar with rectangular cross section and subjected to longitudinal stress, lateral strain is equal to change in width by original. That's what I am explaining. Change in width by width or change in thickness by original thickness, right? So again, strain, we have whatever the type of strain, it does not have any units, okay, because it's a dimensionless quantity, so it cannot have any units, right? Now let us vary in another important concept. It is a Poisson's ratio. So what is Poisson's ratio? It is the ratio of lateral strain to the longitudinal strain. Okay, lateral strain to the longitudinal strain means I have explained you how it is deforms. It is in lateral direction. So when a member is subjected to, let us say it is, I will take another simple bar. So let us sorry. Okay, so this is a load is acted upon one. Let us say it is for better conceptual. Let I am taking only in one direction. Load is, let us say this is a tensile load is acting, right? So a load is in downwards. So what happens due to this load? What happens? This will be, let us say this is the length L, right? And this dimension, let us say D, right? So this dimension, let us say D, and right, and if it is under this load, what happens? So how it changes? I will take another one so that it will be easy. So because of the load, what happens? So this will be, load will be, so it is increases like this, okay, increases like this and decreases like this. This length is increased from delta L, increased by delta L, but whereas if you take this one, this will decrease, okay, this side and this side, let us take both sides it is, okay. So this is delta D by 2, this is delta D by 2, both sides put together, that will nothing but delta D. Change in length is nothing but delta D. So it is changes. Let us say for understanding purpose, if you want to draw it is, I can draw in another way. So I can draw it in like this. I think if it is diagram also there on other side. So it is will be like this. This will be nothing but delta D. If it is a axial load is there, both sides equally that will be there. But understanding purpose, I am showing on only one side. Don't think otherwise. Okay, don't get confused with that one. So this is nothing but delta D, and this is nothing but delta L, right? So this is, what is the Poisson's ratio? So Poisson's ratio means if this type of load is acted on this one. So it is one side, one dimension increases, other will decreases, right? So along the length of the member, what is the strain? Along the width or thickness or diametrical. So what is the strain? That ratio. Along the diametrical, it is a delta dimension. Along diametrical or other dimension, width or thickness, that is nothing but lateral strain. And along the length of the member, that is nothing but longitudinal strain or linear strain, right? Longitudinal or linear strain. So what is that Poisson's ratio in this case? Lateral strain by longitudinal strain. What is the lateral strain? Delta D by D. That is nothing but lateral strain. And what is the longitudinal strain? Delta L by L. So this is nothing but Poisson's ratio for this given figure, right? Mu is equal to delta T by T and delta L by L. This is nothing but lateral strain, and this is nothing but longitudinal strain or linear strain. Generally, it is Poisson's ratio is denoted with a letter 1 by m or mu. Okay, so how much it is decreases if it is length increases, how much, and what is the decrease ratio? There will be some ratio. It will it follows a ratio. Every material follows some ratios. Okay, so if you take one material, if it is a steel, if you take, so it will follows, if it is length increased by 1 mm, corresponding to that one, some with some ratio, this will this width or thickness or some other lateral dimension decreases. Okay, if it is longitudinally it is for another material, rubber, if you take, so if it is length is increased corresponding to with some ratio, that will decreases. Okay, the ratio will be constant for each material. This is a material property. Okay, we remember that is a material property, just like a modulus of elasticity. It is also a material property, right? So it is for different materials, different Poisson's ratio values are there. Okay, for steel it is different, for concrete it is different, for rubber it is different, any material if you take, for wood, everything. So every material has different values of Poisson's ratio. Okay, that is nothing but material property, right? The ratio is constant. The for the each material, whatever may the type of the load, that ratio will be constant. Okay, so any load, any type of load, it is a tension, compression, or any other things, that ratio will be constant. Okay, that ratio means that corresponding strains ratio will be constant. That is nothing but Poisson's ratio. Right, so like this it will be changes when a bar is pulled by a tensile force. Like this is a bar. Okay, similar, we have taken different diagram. It is a little bit of different diagram tension, right? A ball point along with its longitudinal axis, the length of the bar increases and the diameter of the bar decreases. That's what we have discussed. This length is how much it is increased. So for tension elongates along the direction of the load, it elongates. That's what it is, L plus delta L. According to same way, other dimension decreases. Okay, so this is nothing but this difference. If you see this one, so this is decrease. Okay, this is nothing but decrease, and this is nothing but increase, right? On both sides it will be, the increase will be constant, right? So this is nothing but both put together, this is nothing but delta L. Okay, this plus this both similarly, and this plus this both put together, it is nothing but delta D. Okay, like this. Okay, so how much it is decreasing for tension? It is lateral dimension decreases. That's why it is D minus delta D. Okay, along the length direction, it is L plus delta L. It is increasing for tension, right? For tension, longitudinal strain increases, lateral strain decreases. For similarly, for compression, longitudinal strain decreases, lateral strain increases, right? When a bar is pulled by a tensile force, like this we have discussed it, right? So if we take another one, another dimension, it is compressive load. Okay, this is a member, this load is acted on this one. So it is P is load is acting, this is length L, and L minus delta L, right? So it is D plus delta D, right? Right, so it is if you take previously we have discussed about a tension member. Now it is nothing but a member subjected to compressive load P, right? So this is a fixed member. So if we are applying a load, so if due to this load, what happens, it is there will be decrease in this dimension. Okay, how much it is decreased? This is nothing but decreased. Okay, how much it is decreased? It is nothing but delta L, right? Correspondingly, if this is decreasing, obviously other dimension, that lateral dimension shall increase. Okay, so that is nothing but this one, right? This both put together, it will be delta D. Both includes both this and this, both part combining, that is nothing but delta D. D plus delta D, right? This is delta D by 2, this is delta D by 2, right? Obviously both will be equal, delta D by 2, delta D by 2, because so this is a axial load. When it axial load means both side it will be equal. Okay, generally, right? When a column is subjected to compressive force P, it's along its longitudinal axis. This is longitudinal axis. So this is the axial load. very much be careful about this. Is axial load, means load acting along the axis of the member. This is the axial load. The length of the column decreases. That's what is nothing but L minus delta L, and the diameter of the column increases. This is nothing but delta. Both sides it is increasing. Delta d by 2, delta d by 2. Right. So Poisson's ratio either mu or 1 by m. So is equal to lateral strain by longitudinal strain. Lateral strain is equal to delta d by d, and longitudinal strain is what delta L by L. The units are Poisson's ratio has no units because already we have discussed it. Right. The value of Poisson's ratio for elastic materials usually lies between 0.25 to 0.33. Right. 0.25 to 0.33. And 15 plus 6, 15 plus 6, how much? 20 minutes wasted. After 65 minutes, yeah, okay. Right. So the value of Poisson's ratio for elastic materials usually 0.252. This is a normal range for elastic materials. Okay. Right. Now let us go to the some examples based on this longitudinal strain, lateral strain, Poisson's ratio, and Young's modulus. Combining whatever the all topics we have discussed, that is stress, strain, right? Again in strains, lateral strain, longitudinal strain, Poisson's ratio, and Young's modulus. Related to all these, let us solve some problems on this. A steel flat of 500 mm length, 600 mm width, and 20 mm thickness is subjected to an axial compression of 168 kilonewtons. The Young's modulus of steel is 2 into 10 to the power 5 Newton per mm square, and Poisson's ratio is 0.3. Determine change in length, width, and volume of flat. What you already discussed? Determine length delta L, change in width, Poisson flat, and the volume of the flat. How much it is variation? Okay. What is the change? Poisson's ratio given, it is 0.3. Young's modulus steel, it is 2 into 10 to the power 5, and load it is given as 168, and width is 20 mm and length is 60 mm. Length is 500 mm and width is 60 mm. Sorry, 20 mm is thickness. Okay, so it's nothing but you can get original volume. It is 500 into 60 into 20. Now we need to calculate volume of the flat. Determine change in volume. So for to get a change in volume, we need to change your dimension also. Change in dimension means change in length, change in width, change in thickness. All we need to calculate, right? If we calculate change in length, change in width, and change in thickness, then we can calculate the change of dimension, change in volume, right? That is nothing but we have to. That is what the problem. Now let us see how to calculate. So length of the flat is all the original length, initial length. Axial load P is equal to 168 kilonewtons. Nothing but 168 into 10 to the power 3 Newton, 10 to the power 3 newtons. So Young's modulus of the steel is nothing but 2 into 10 to the power 5 Newton per mm square. Right, Poisson's ratio is nothing but 1 by m is 0.3. These are the given data. Now area of the flat is equal to P into T. Direct compressive stress is nothing but P by A. Load by area is nothing but load is given in the problem. So it is the area is nothing but this one is the area. Right. So it's nothing but one more thing. So when it is load is given, so member is like this. What area we have to calculate? There are 3 dimensions: L, B into T. 3 dimensions are there. It's a 3-dimensional figure. What length we have to take? L into B or B into T or L into T? What we have to take? Which area we have to take? Generally, the stress while calculating, let us say if this is the length of the bar, right? So it is subjected to a compressive load. Let us say this one, right? So it is length is nothing but this is length, and this is B, and other dimension let us say T, right? So in that case, how to calculate this? Out of which area we have to take? Not L into B, right? We have to calculate the cross section area, right? Cross section area we want, not this exposed area or elevation, means the front fire visible area, not that one. We need to calculate the cross section. If you cut the cross section, how it looks like means if you cut the cross section at this point, let us say this is section XX, so this will be like this, right? So this is nothing but B and this is nothing but T, right? One is B and is T, or this is something like this. One dimension will be B, one dimension, of course, this is in this dimension. In this case, we have written this is a B and this is a T, right? So this cross section area we have to take. That's why it is B into T. Okay, the area is B into T, not L into B or L into T, like that. Okay, we have to take the cross section area, right? So 60 into 20 is equal to 1200. Direct compressive stress is equal to load by area, right? This is not a stress, direct compressive. Young's modulus, what is the Young's modulus formula? Young's modulus is equal to stress by strain. So stress by what strain again? Stress by strain. Stress by what strain? Again, for Young's modulus calculation, stress by this is linear strain or longitudinal strain we have to take, not the lateral strain. For Young's modulus, by basic definition itself, so stress by longitudinal strain. Okay, stress by lateral strain. So linear strain is equal to sigma by E. Okay, linear strain is equal to sigma by E, right? Sigma by E. So linear strain is equal to sigma by E. Sigma already we have calculated here. Young's modulus is equal to, what happened? So this is causing some trouble. So linear strain Young's modulus that is given in the problem. So Young's modulus linear strain is stress by Young's modulus, that will give the strain. So is equal to 7 into 10 to the power of minus 4, because it is a strain, no units, right? So now we got the linear strain. What is the, from the Poisson's definition ratio? What is the Poisson's ratio? Lateral strain by linear strain. So we know the Poisson's ratio that is given in the problem, and we have calculated the linear strain. Now from this one, calculate the lateral strain. Okay, lateral strain is equal to Poisson's ratio into linear strain. Okay, so from this one, Poisson's ratio is nothing but 0.3 into 7 into 10 to the power of 7, 10 to the power of 4, right? So that is the linear strain. So Poisson's ratio into linear strain. So this is what we got it, right? So we'll get lateral strain from this one, right? Now we got the lateral strain. So what is the lateral strain? So now decrease in length is equal to delta L is equal to linear strain into initial length. Decrease in how much delta L? Delta L we reverse it, because directly it is not given. So from where we can calculate strain is equal, linear strain is equal to what? Change in length by original length. From this one we can calculate the delta L. So that is nothing but linear strain. EL is nothing but linear or longitudinal strain. That is equal to delta L by change in length by original length. From this one you reverse it. So what we need? We need this one. So it is, if you want that one, so it goes to into product. So into delta L, strain into delta L. That's what we have calculated. This formula is like that. Okay. Now decrease in length, because it is a compression member, so there will length will be decreases. So it is how much it is? Strain into strain. We have already calculated here linear strain into initial length. So initial length is 500. Now we'll get the change in length. Right. Now we get the change in length. Right. So this will be minus because it is a compressive load. Similarly, increase in width, obviously when length decreases, other two dimension increases. Okay, either it may be a width or it may be thickness. So increase in width is equal to delta B. Width means delta B. Delta B is nothing but lateral strain into lateral dimension. Okay, lateral width into nothing but B, not L. This is B. Right. So delta B is equal to EB into B. Right. What is EB? This is nothing but lateral strain. Right, 2.1 into 10 to the power of E, they are already calculated in the previous one, into B is nothing but 60. This is lateral strain into width, lateral dimension. It will be plus because it is for compression, it will be. And similarly, thickness also increases. Okay, right. thickness will also be increases because it is in length decreases means all thickness as well as width both increases. That's why it is increase. Delta T is equal to ET means strain along the thickness direction, strain along the width direction. It will be lateral means both will be constant. Okay, along the length direction it will be different, whereas lateral means both along the width and along the thickness both the strain will be lateral strain is same. That's what it is we have taken here. Okay, 2.1 into 10 to the power of minus 4 into this is T, not L again, this is T thickness, because everything is thickness is there, here also it will be thickness not L, right? Now we got the increase in thickness, right? This is increase, this is decrease. Now we got the change in dimensions along the length, along the width, along the thickness, all three we got it, right? Next we got the original thickness, original length, original width and original thickness, and change in width, change in length, change in thickness, all three dimensions we got change in dimensions, right? Now we have to calculate the final volume, right? So this is original volume, this is constant 500 into 60 into 20, and we have the final volume, so we have to calculate. Final volume is nothing but length, change in length. Okay, so it is length is decreased. How much it is decreased? So it is 0.35 already we have seen, right, out of 500 mm. So because of this length compressive load, the length is decreased to decreased by 0.35 mm, right? So that's why it is 500 minus 0.35, that is nothing but change dimension, and this multiplied by 60 plus other two dimensions increased, right? That's why it is 60 plus 0.126, right, and 20 plus 0.0.42. Now you see how much it is change in volume, 168.15. The decreased or increased? The volume decreased. Okay, the net volume is decreased, right? Because so if you see, it is original volume is 6 lakh. Okay, 6 lakhs millimeter cube, and the revised volume means final volume after load application. This is the volume. Okay, it is decreased. Okay, 5,99,831 only. What is the remainder? Okay, so this is nothing but change in volume. This much is reduced. The volume is reduced. Okay. Now let us tabulate the results. Decrease in length, delta L is equal to 0.35. Increase in width, so increase in thickness, change in volume is equal to 168.5. Right. So this is how you have to calculate the change in different dimensions. Now let us see another problem. The following results were obtained from the tensile test on a mild steel specimen. The diameter of the specimen is 50 mm. Gauge length is 250. Length of specimen at failure 300. Extension at a load of 42.5 kilonewton is equal to 444 into 10 to the power of minus 4. Right. At this load, this is the extension. Load at yield point, load at maximum load, maximum load, diameter of neck means before failure neck forms. We have discussed in tension test. Okay, stress strain diagram. We have discussed neck will be formed before failure. That neck diameter is nothing but 36 mm. Factor of safety is 3. This is a given results. Now what we have to do first? What do you have to calculate? Calculate Young's modulus, stress at yield point, ultimate stress, working stress, percentage of elongation, percentage of reduction in area, right? So all these things we have to calculate. Reduction in area, percentage reduction in area, percentage elongation. Just like previous one, just only thing is additional one is nothing but this one, working stress. Actually we have not defined working stress. So working stress is defined as ratio of ultimate strain to ultimate stress to factor of safety. Ultimate stress by factor of safety. FOS. That's what is given. Or simply it is nothing but factor of safety. It is definition of factor of safety is nothing but ultimate stress by working stress. Ultimate stress by working stress. Right? Factor of safety is equal to ultimate stress by working stress. This is the definition of the factor of safety. Means this much of factor. While designing, we will take this factor of safety into consideration. Okay, thinking that there may be in future there due to our design loads may get increased in the future due to overloading or some other different material uncertainty in the material properties. So to take care of all these things, some factor of safety is assumed. Of course, different methodologies assume different types of factor of safeties that we are going to discuss in later semesters. Right. So for the time being, you remember that factor of safety is equal to working ratio of ultimate stress to working stress. Okay, ultimate stress to working stress. That's why you remember for time being. Now let us see how to calculate the stress. So these are dimensions, initial dimensions, right? Based on all these are given data. So up to this one. Now calculate the stress. Stress is nothing but load by area. So what load again we have to take? So generally this stress is nothing but generally it is to calculate the Young's modulus. Generally it is taken up to elastic limit. So generally they are assuming that it is a elastic within the elastic limit. Now calculate the stress. Right? Calculate the elastic list. Strain delta L by L for a given load means previously has given 42 point. Wherever stress and strain corresponding to same load you have to calculate. Right? So if you see this one, just you see. So corresponding to this load only you take strain. Okay. Don't take any other strains. If at all given, you simply neglect it. Corresponding to this load we are calculating the stress. Corresponding to the same load you take the strain. Okay, then only we'll get the correct Young's modulus. Right? If you are taking the load for this one and strain corresponding to some other load, then it is wrong. Okay, corresponding to this this load, calculate the stress, calculate the strain, both. Okay, this is given for load is given, area is known to you, so calculate the stress, and it is change in length is given, initial length is known to you, right? Initial length is known to you, calculate the strain, linear strain, right? So knowing the stress and linear strain, calculate the Young's modulus. That is one thing. And next one is yield load is given. When the yield load is given, so calculate the yield stress. Stress the yield load is equal to yield stress is equal to yield load divided by area of the original area of the cross section. Right? Like that you can calculate the yield stress. And next one it is nothing but maximum load. Right? So maximum load is nothing but ultimate load. So ultimate load is equal to, if you know the ultimate load, you can calculate the ultimate stress. Ultimate stress is equal to load by original area. That is also you can calculate. So like that you can calculate the ultimate stress. So these are things. Okay, Young's modulus you can calculate. I have explained. Yield stress also explained. Ultimate stress also. Working stress, this way you have to calculate. And percentage of elongation. Next, percentage of reduction you have to calculate. Percentage of elongation means how much elongation it is takes place compared to its initial dimension. Okay, so for that one we need to know the final dimension. Okay, final change in length. So final calculate the final change in length and calculate the, it is maybe given in the problem. I think final change in length is given. Okay, final area you can calculate. How to calculate the final length of specimen at failure. Yeah, this is length of failure, right? So initial length, this is initial length, this is final length. So how much change in length? 300 minus 250 is nothing but 50 mm. Okay, total elongation is at failure is nothing but 50 mm. That's why from this one you have to calculate the change in length. Once you know the change in length, final change in length is nothing 50 by 250, right? That is nothing but elongation. How much it is increased? 1 by 5 means 20%. 20% is the this one. Percentage elongation is nothing but 20%. Similarly, reduction in area. So it is the diameter is given. I think probably we need to some calculation is involved. The diameter. So we need some calculation involved. So we have to use the calculator for that one. Right now, let us see the answers. How to calculate. So this is we have to calculate stress corresponding to strain also for the same load. Calculate the strain. Right, and calculate the Young's modulus stress by strain. So be careful here. So that's what I am explaining again. I am explaining again. So for the same load, calculate the stress and strain for the same load, right? That is also before elastic limit. Probably before elastic limit, it is you will get a Young's modulus, because up to that point only it is generally it is considered. Right, this is how you have to calculate Young's modulus. Next, yield stress by yield load by area of cross section. Right, this is nothing but original cross section area. Be careful that this is the original cross section, not the after forming the neck reduced area. Okay, ultimate stress is equal to ultimate load area cross. This is again original cross section area. Next, factor of safety is equal to ultimate stress by working stress. Right, working stress is equal to ultimate stress by the factor of safety. Ultimate stress already calculated. This is working stress. Okay, and percentage elongation. So change in length. That's what you have done. 300 minus 50. This change in length is calculated. Right, percentage elongation. So this is we have calculated 20%. Same thing here. So it is similarly the percentage A1 minus A2 means final area minus initial area minus final area. So that is nothing but you will get. So change in area divided by original area. How much it is? Percentage change in area is nothing 40%. Okay, change in length is only 20%, but the change in area is but 48.16%. Right. So these are the results tabulated here. Okay. Now let us summarize what you have discussed here. So Young's modulus we have discussed. We have calculated the Young's modulus for the different formulas. Okay. From this one more thing we got. Initially, up to that previous lecture, we know that Young's modulus is equal to only stress by strain. Now from onwards, it is be careful that stress by linear strain. Okay, that you have to remember here. Stress by linear strain. Right. Poisson's ratio. So we have discussed yield stress, ultimate stress, factor of safety, how to calculate all these things we have discussed. Right. Yield stress is the ratio of the load at the yield point to the cross section area of the bar. This one. Yield stress is the ratio between yield load at yield point to cross section area. This answer. Cross section area of the bar. And working stress is the ratio between the ultimate stress to the ratio between working stress is the ratio between ultimate stress to factor of safety. Right. Right. This is some of the questions. It may be data may be changes. The model may be, this is for only for the model. Okay, the data may be this loads and this dimension may be different. Okay, but this similar problems. We can say that not exactly same problems. We can expect similar data. There may be change in data as well as some of the questions. Even this is we have solved same question. It is given here same day value. Right? And there may be some change in dimension. Maybe the change in different parameters asked may be different. Okay, not always like the same manner. Okay, right. So like this you have to calculate, and let us start here.